Dragon Ball Daima. Homies, can we just have a moment of silence to appreciate that we have all lived long enough to go through a second Dragon Ball renaissance? If y'all are unk status millennials like me, or if you've been following the series for some time, then you know for a very long time, we went through something of a Dragon Ball Dark Ages. While there was still plenty of merchandise and games coming out for the IP, Dragon Ball was surviving on the shoulders of its inherent timelessness and the loyalty of its fan base. GT was the newest and most exciting thing to happen to the series for a hot minute, and you already know what type of time people are on when it comes to that series, as well as its questionable continuity. But to be around for the release of the new movies would showcase that the world still needed more Dragon Ball, which then takes us into Super, and now we got a new Tenkaichi game and Dragon Ball Daima hitting the streets. There's no way I can't take at least a couple minutes to reflect on how lucky we are, seeing something we love so much continue to live on and have other generations get put onto it as well. And if this first episode is anything to go off of, Daima seems like it's got some real love and care pumped directly into its veins that's evident from frame one. Just look at this beautiful ass recap montage we are getting treated to. If the team really wanted to rush this bad boy out, they could have easily just recycled frames from the previous series and made their point. But they're on a completely different type of time, and I have to apologize for being unfamiliar with their game. Just look at these stills and animation we get of the classic characters and moments from both Dragon Ball and Z being brought to life by the new artists. While I may be partial to the 80s and 90s hyper buff interpretations of Z characters, I can appreciate good line work and accuracy to original designs when I see it. Just seeing this off rip gave me a nice bit of hope that Daima is being handled with the level of attention that a new series in the Dragon Ball lineage deserves. Let me breathe a sigh of relief. The opening recap is mad interesting. I definitely didn't expect to see Papa Roach and the King of Hawk Tool himself to be the stars of our shows. We get introduced to the lore, but the dialogue directly after begins to make all this make sense. Goma, who I'm calling Baby Joker from here on out, appears to be the burgeoning king of hell and is running the tape to try to get a grasp on exactly what happened to his predecessors. He is accompanied by his attendant Degasu, who we can already tell from that whack-ass mohawk has some type of relationship with the Kais. This assumption is correct, and we are told that Homie is the little brother of Kaioshin, and apparently Degasu finds him just as annoying and whack as we do. Guess that smug-ass grin wasn't going over super well back at home either. Seeing their reactions to the Z crew packing up Boo was priceless. Apparently they've been out the game for a minute because they had no clue these fellows on Earth were out here flying around and carrying on the way they were. Outside of the general shock at watching Boo get folded like origami though, there were three major takeaways. With Boo, Bobbity, and Deborah all in line for the next Biggie Smalls concert, the throne was now truly uncontested. Baby Joker's grab for power was now secured, and preparations for his reign in the demon world could begin. But the party is cut short when my wife, Dr. Arinsu, walks in.
You better get the best for me.
With her Hershey kiss updo in immaculate condition, baby girl comes in, expresses her tongue-in-cheek congratulations to the now official King Goma, informing him that her curiosity was piqued at Deborah taking an uncharacteristic step into the world of humans and wanting to learn more. Baby Joker informs her that she's on point, and that this is the reason they reviewed the tapes too. But it's so sad her sugar poppy Deborah met us in the way he did because he was the wallet for all of her research in hell. Arinsu fires back, letting Joker know that it's indeed a shame, but it shouldn't be too big an issue because she's sure he'll open his heart and her wallet to her as well. Baby Joker F's up by giving a non-committal answer, and this whole interaction right here is pretty well what gets the plot into motion. Not appreciating his tone, Baby Girl reminds him of the importance of her research because if there's humans out there capable of running a fade on Majin Buu, and they just so happen to find their way to the demon realm, what's that mean for them? Degasu, who we also learned is Baby Girl's brother, assures her that they got no reason to worry about this and to please refrain from putting any more nonsense into Baby Joker's ever-expanding head. Arinsu, sensing that the seed was adequately planted, takes her leave. Degasu tries to assure his master that there's no need to let his fine-ass sister get in his ear, but the damage is already done. Baby Joker's paranoia and clinical anxiety take over, and he decides that something has to be done about those ragamuffin earthlings. And since they can't use the Dragon Balls in Hell, which are being guarded by the 3 Tamagotchi pets, then they will need to take a quick trip to Earth to use their balls to make a few requests. And since the Earth's Dragon Balls will not allow for what is known as a black wish, meaning you can't wish for evil things like a balloon pop YouTube Let me stop. Meaning you can't wish for evil things like killing someone or putting them through the conclusion of My Hero Academia, then he would have to get creative. Perhaps something like turning them into grade schoolers to lower their threat level and ensure that they'll never be able to pose a threat to his range should the impulse arise. He also intends to deck himself out with something he calls the evil third eye, which contrary to my initial assumption has nothing to do with a trouser snake. Apparently some kind of thingamadoohickey that grants the user great power, and I'm sure it won't become a significant plot device later. Degasu also asked to make a wish on the Earth balls as well, but he's blown off before we can learn what he's trying to get to pop off. So a plan settled, one last bit of prep needs to be made as Baby Joker and Degasu get ready to take their ship and pay a visit to Universe 7. Baby Joker recruits the help of this absolutely ancient Namekian, who has fully embraced the Smash Brothers lifestyle and stopped bathing, but apparently his powers are crucial to getting what they need from the balls back on that blue trap bubble. So their smelly alien mystic in tow, they get on their ship and travel to Earthrealm. Then the scene shifts to my homie Trunks' 9th birthday, where he's looking dapper as ever. Everybody's outside too. Goku's eating all the food as usual, Bulma's still bad, and Vegeta's forehead is glistening as brightly as ever. There's a brief gag where Goku gets on that bum-ass Kaioshin for summoning with them at their party, rather than doing god stuff like I'm sure his blue, sometimes purple ass is supposed to be doing, as well as a back and forth between Krillin and Trunks about Big Krill of all people calling Trunks small for his age, and before Trunks can pop off and tell him he wasn't too small for his wife, Goku interjects and brings Vegeta into it for no reason, calling him small just to instigate. Goku is messy as ever, I see. Nursing his food baby, Goku decides that the best way to burn the excess calories would be to throw hands, and Vegeta is all too happy to oblige. This was a cool throwdown, and more than anything, kind of felt like a tech demo to show the audience a brief glimpse of what throwdowns of Daima are going to look like. And I gotta say, homies, it ain't too bad. Not too bad at all. The fight didn't look like it was made in PowerPoint. Characters were on model, the action was clear, hits looked like they had solid impact, which was helped by the great sound design to really sell it, and the particle effects were pretty as hell to look at too. This quick exhibition was yet another sigh of relief, letting me know that Daima really might have the juice if the quality and polish can stay to the standard that it is now. And the end of this fight leads us to the climax of the episode. Baby Joker, the Namekian Smash player, and Degasu roll up to the lookout and basically demand that Earth's Guardian break himself and expose the balls with the quickness. They have a wish to make, and no isn't an option. Needing a little more info before you can just go parting with something like the Dragon Balls is informed by Degasu that they hail from hell and are in need of making a wish due to being unable to use their own wish orbs. As Baby Joker gives the cue and the Namekian walks forward, his name is revealed to be Neva, and apparently Buddy made the Demon World Dragon Balls and made the 3 Tamagotchis to protect them, so nobody down below has the ability to use the orbs native to their realm. And one thing that I really like during this exposition is how the old and the new lore gets connected back together. For all my old head Dragon Ball fans, we remember first being introduced to Piccolo not as a Namekian, but as Demon King Piccolo, a fighter of terrifying power hailing from the world of demons and giving Goku and the rest the wildest fight they had received up to that point. It wasn't until Z that a low-key ingenious retcon was pulled and we were told that the Namekians weren't actually demons, but members of an alien race with mystical powers allowing for the creation of the Dragon Balls. Well, here in Daima, the lore is connected by Degasu, who tells Dende that the Namekians are actually descendants of creatures originally from the demon realm, hence their ears and mystical abilities not found anywhere else. It's a small touch, but goes a long way in making Daima feel special, like it's really the link between OG and modern Dragon Ball. Neva heads to the tail end of the lookout, and calling upon dark power summons the inert balls to the lookout. Not only that, but is able to restore their magical energy so Shenron can be summoned despite them being in their refractory period since the last wish occurred so recently. And the ending to this episode had me so pissed, y'all, as Dende attempts to stop these thugs from waltzing into the lookout and stealing such valuable possessions. Degasu sees Green Bean squaring up and karate chops little man directly in the chest, knocking the wind out of him. Then he sees Popo making eye contact and is like, "What's wrong, Charcoal Man? You feeling froggy too?" And guess what this man Popo does? Tell me why this fella, tears in his eyes, goes, "No problem, boss man, none at all. Can I get you a lemonade, massa?" Bruh, y'all already know how I feel about Popo if you've been on this channel for a minute. But this right here was the final straw. Popo's officially ass tier. Bro really let himself get bitched out in a completely insane way. Zero motion in these streets. And as Dende collects his teeth off the ground and we get a slow cut to our heroes getting Chiba-fied as the ending theme begins hitting in earnest. And right here, homies, is the first episode of Dragon Ball Daima. Final thoughts, Daima gives me big time OG Dragon Ball vibes. If the humor, the colors, and the focus on adventure along with the martial arts are any indicator, it feels like Daima is really working to get out of the shadows of the transformation and power creep that has become the territory of late stage Dragon Ball and take the series back to its roots, bringing back a focus on creativity and lighthearted sense of wonder more than never-ending boxing matches between aliens with different colored hair. And I don't mean that in a derogatory way. Y'all know I love me some Dragon Ball, but it really feels like the series wrote itself into a corner in so many ways. And I can understand why, in order to tell a different kind of story within what the Dragon Ball universe has grown into, making a significant departure and turning the cast into kids would have been a necessary development. One thing I'm super curious about will be the reception. So many modern DBZ fans are absolutely gooned out on the new school DB power creep and are as hip on the humor, adventure, and martial arts side of the series like was Sensei Toriyama's original vision when the series dropped. I hope people can be open-minded enough to appreciate Daima for what it is rather than hating it for what it's not, but only time will tell on that front. As for me, I thought it was a solid setup, and it did exactly what a good pilot is supposed to. Got me interested in the premise and left me wanting to know more about where things are gonna head. Appreciate y'all joining me on this journey with Daima. If y'all want me to continue covering this new iteration of DBZ as more drops in the future, let me know, and I'll catch you guys again in the next video.